In December of 1909, thousands of New Englanders spotted an airplane flying up and down the coast from Rhode Island to Maine. Witnesses across New England, including police officers, judges, politicians, and businessmen, all reported seeing an aircraft flying at night. Newspapers across the country and Europe started to share this story. The U.S. Army, seeing the advantage of this technology, started to investigate. Business leaders and political leaders from the United States, England, Spain, Germany, and France all gathered in Boston, Massachusetts, wanting to buy, or at least to see, this new and vastly improved version of the aeroplane. The only problem, this technology wouldn't exist for another 20 years. And then it just disappeared. I'm Kathy.
I'm Chris.
I'm Sean.
And this is Weirder After Dark.
I saw the weirdest thing a couple weeks ago. Have you seen those like dog robots?
I've seen them on like TV.
Yeah.
Documentary type things.
Like the toy ones or the ones like the Army uses?
The full Army sized ones.
Yeah,
that,
those are crazy.
Yeah, and you like see them on the internet do backflips and stuff like that, and like running, and like you think it's like futuristic, something you see in like Black Mirror, or you're like, oh yeah, like they might be out there super advanced in a couple of years. I saw one on the streets of Manchester the other day.
What?
Yeah, like I'm not even making this up. I was literally like looking out my window and I just see this robotic full-size dog walking down the road. I didn't see anyone controlling it. They're walking it on the street.
Was there someone?
I don't know. Like,
AI is real.
Are we already in that world where there's going to be...
AI have pets now.
Oh no.
Were they like looking for a bomb or something? Was it?
I hope not.
Why else would you use them?
I literally have no idea, but I remember just being like, are we here already? Like,
wow.
Like I'm terrified.
That is scary, yeah.
Yeah, I should research it. It had to be from like SNHU or one of the local campuses, but...
Maybe.
Well, we do have a lot of tech startups and stuff in Manchester down by the river. So like maybe it was one of them doing something with it.
They're just going to tell you it was testing and not to worry.
Yeah. It's all good.
Don't look over here.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's really happening. Like it feels like you're in a sci-fi movie or something. Yeah.
Could you imagine like not having the context of what it was though? Just looking over and seeing like a robotic dog walking perfectly fine down the side of the road. Like
no.
like what?
Like it's happening. All those movies, it's coming true.
If I wasn't in my car, I would have freaked the fuck. Like I can imagine walking on the street next to it. Like
just
luckily,
passes by.
I think I can drive faster than that.
Maybe.
Probably not.
I don't know.
Pretty sure I can climb walls and shit.
Yeah, probably, right?
Well, I mean, that's very strange. That's very weird.
Yeah.
And definitely makes me feel uncomfortable just hearing about that. But now imagine if it was like an airplane and you'd never seen one before. And now all of a sudden you think the only things in the world that can fly are birds and insects.
Yeah, the first time somebody saw a plane in the air, it must have felt kind of like that, right?
Yeah, it had to be.
They knew it existed, but seeing it in person has to be this weird effect.
Mind-blowing, right? Absolutely mind-blowing.
And not only the planes that they knew existed, but a plane that didn't fit any of those descriptions.
Oh, like a futuristic plane?
Like a futuristic plane.
Like a time jump or something?
Maybe. Well, that's where we're going today.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I'm excited.
So the Wright brothers had their first successful flight in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina in December of 1903. The two bicycle manufacturers and inventors flew the first official motor-powered flight. This flight lasted 12 seconds and covered 120 feet.
That's it?
That's it.
We're flying!
For 12 seconds.
This was particularly achieved by pointing the plane down a steep hill. So really the only way that they got the 120 feet for 12 seconds was by aiming the plane down a hill to get the momentum to lift up into the air.
I'm trying to get into the 150 feet club, not the Mile High Club.
Well, 6 years later, a Worcester, Massachusetts man claimed to have perfected the art of flight, a new craft that flies hundreds of miles without stopping and thousands of feet in the air, covering great distances at unimaginable speeds. This craft was able to navigate at night and was able to carry 3 passengers and up to 600 pounds of cargo for 300 miles without refueling.
That's a big jump from what the Wright brothers did, 6 years?
Yeah, that is impressive as all hell.
Yes. So this is your AI dog walking down the street.
It's so weird to me, too, thinking like, you have the Wright brothers. You'd think it would be a corporation, the government jumping in,
right,
taking that technology and advancing. It's just some guy from Worcester.
Of all places.
This is definitely suspect if the guy's from Worcester. Like, from Cambridge, okay.
Yeah. Worcester?
Yeah.
Worcester? Worcester?
Well, this aircraft would be a game changer. We would be able to cut back travel time from days on a train to hours in the sky. We could ship goods all over the country, and we would have military dominance, shipping goods and transporting troops all over the world, creating a situation where everyone from tycoons of industry to the U.S. Army to foreign countries wanting to buy this new version of the airplane. So where did it go? I want to tell you the story by using some newspaper articles written about the events that occurred.
I already love this one where it's going. I'm just like, the government murdered her and covered this up and stole the technology.
So many conspiracy theories running through my head right now.
Yeah.
December 10th, 1909, Marblehead, Massachusetts, the Marlborough Gazette reported, over the city last night, citizens witnessed strange lights flying over City Hall. Some witnesses believed it was a comet. Others reported it looked like a spotlight with a dimmer red tail light and was a few hundred to a few thousand feet in the air. The article was buried on page 6. The story did not make any conclusions, just told the timeline of the strange events.
Yeah, the difference between a star and something 100 feet off the ground is pretty strange. And a tail light for a plane would be red, right?
Yeah, and
red
a
or green.
comet would move so much faster
Yeah.
than a plane would be at the time. And also the context of like, this is way before UFO stuff was popping off in pop culture and all that too. So yeah.
That's strange.
Well, this event remained a mystery until the Boston Herald published an article 3 days later. On December 13th, the Boston Herald published a lengthy newspaper interview with prominent local businessman and inventor Wallace Tillinghast. In this interview, he proudly proclaimed that he had perfected and flown the world's first sophisticated airship. Tillinghast also claimed that his experimental flights were continuing in secret and at night so competitors could not steal his design.
I just need a comment. The balls you have to build an airplane, fly it, and then go, I'm only flying it at night. Terrifying. You get in the sky and you're like, what now? What now? Gang, we've been talking about it for months, but they're finally here. We've officially started collaborating with Ghost Poppy on 3 uniquely Weirder After Dark candles, and they're available right now.
Our first one is simply branded Weirder After Dark, and it's everything you would expect when sitting around a campfire, sharing stories with your friends in New England.
Hints of maple, clove, earth, smoked amber, pine, cedar, patchouli, a true hanging out by the fire vibe.
We'll also have 2 scents inspired by 2 of our favorite Weirder After Dark tales.
The first being Chris's story on Boone Island.
Guys, wait, wasn't that one about cannibalism?
It sure was, but it also takes place on an island off the rocky coast of Maine, and that's what you can expect with this candle.
Think scents of moss, earth, juniper, bergamot, ozone, the fresh sense of being on an island after an intense thunderstorm.
That sounds so much nicer than what I was thinking. Thank you, guys.
So much nicer. And lastly, a scent inspired by the Voynich manuscript, a story we were all captivated by. And for this one, imagine yourself peaceful and curiously reading an ancient manuscript in a quiet library.
You'll get the sense of bergamot, eucalyptus, balsam, leather, and patchouli.
And you can feel good about buying these candles. Why?
Because it's made by a small US-based business, and they've been such a pleasure to work with. Carla and her husband Sean make these candles by hand. They're 100% soy-based, vegan, paraben, and sulfate and cruelty-free, which means absolutely no nasty chemicals and all the good feels for you.
So gang, if you're loving these episodes and want to support us, head over to ghostpoppy.com and find the Weirder After Dark collection. The link will be in the description and pick up some of your own candles today. It would absolutely mean the world.
Thanks.
So you have sightings in Marlborough, and then he comes out, 3 days later?
3 days later.
And tells the Boston newspaper, hey, that was me in the sky?
Yep.
Cool.
This is the account that was printed on the Boston Herald's front page. Worcester, December 12th. Wallace E. Tillinghast of this city, vice president of a manufacturing company here, made public a story today that he invented, built, and tested an aeroplane capable of carrying 3 passengers with a weight limit of 600 pounds, a distance of about 300 miles with 1 stop to replenish the supply of petrol. He went on in this interview to say he was not going to reveal where the airplane is at this time, but will instead reveal it early next year in Boston when all testing has been completed. He reported he would continue to make his nighttime flights as he fine-tuned and put the new craft through its paces.
Oh, I'd be outside looking for it every night too, right?
Hands down, staring at the sky.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Ooh.
Well, the release of this article caused a wave of excitement in national and local pride. Just 6 years earlier, we had proven heavier than air flight was possible, and now the perfection of flight was achieved not just by mankind, but by a local man. The entire community was alive with excitement and anticipation. The next day, on December 14th, the Worcester newspaper headlines read, Wallace E. Tillinghast may have been flying above city. Business at standstill while people watch. The article states, fully 2,000 people stood on Main Street tonight and watched a mysterious light which traveled from 80 to 1,000 feet above the earth, from a time passing up and down over the entire city from east to west, and later describing circles over City Hall. When the light appeared, there was a slight fall of snow and the moon and stars were not visible. The conditions remained about the same up until 9 o'clock, when the lights disappeared to the southwest.
So there are clouds too, and this motherfucker is taking his plane up to the sky
and flying up, doing circles
During a
around over City
snowstorm.
Hall.
balls on this man.
So this is the day after the
Day after
Boston
the
Herald,
interview.
and then they're seeing this thing again in Worcester.
Yeah. So he did the interview on the 12th.
Yeah.
Newspaper printed it on the 13th.
The night of the 13th.
This happens on the 14th. This is when
It's another
the
test
Worcester
flight.
paper.
Oh,
Mhm.
cool.
The group that witnessed this was said to include 50 police officers. Reporters and neighbors all rushed to Tillinghast's house the next day, hoping to get some insight into his project and to see the man himself who revolutionized travel and the future of our country and the world. Tillinghast did not take any questions and stayed inside his home until 9 p.m. When he finally left, he did so without making any statement or answering any questions. Many guessed he left to conduct another test flight, and they were not disappointed.
Oh, tell me it was another sighting.
Well, the next day, the Willimantic Daily Chronicle described the following scene in Connecticut. There were several hundred in Willimantic who saw what they believed to have been an airship, and others said it was Halley's Comet. Whatever it was caused considerable excitement for a while, and the curious ones spent several hours with their eyes onto the heavens. The light in the southeast looked like a powerful searchlight. Because of its size and the rays it threw out, it attracted wide attention. It remained stationary for a few minutes, and then it seemed to shoot upward, then circled around as though the person manipulating it was trying to get his bearings. The light was miles away and quite high in the air. It played on the east for about 15 minutes and then vanished. Later, there appeared a brilliant star in the Fairmont, and those who had not seen the first light and saw the star were of the opinion that both lights were one and the same. But those who saw the first light said it was not a star. People who had come down to do their Christmas shopping forgot what they had come for and stood on the sidewalk and even in the middle of the street looking to the east, hoping to see the return of the airship. Some of the skeptical ones, just because they did not hear the buzzing of the engine, laughed at those who claimed that it was an airship they saw. The skeptics could not account, though, for the strange light and the peculiar actions. Newspaper reporters, PIs hired by investors, manufacturing companies, and rumored international spies all started to track Tillinghast's movement, tailing him to get any information they could. Local barns and unused factories and buildings were searched. Several people were arrested for illegal trespassing as they searched for a picture or description of the mysterious plane. Everyone was looking, and Tillinghast was local, so it had to be close to his home.
This is so cool. This is kind of like, he's not an agent. This is a normal person, but it's like governments around the world, the U.S. government businesses are all just like focused on you and what you made. Like,
that makes perfect sense, right? If you had this jump in technology, everybody would want a piece of it. Everybody would want to be the first to manufacture it and get it out to the world. So
also dangerous too, right? Because
Yeah.
people probably want to look at this as a weapon and to use it for war, and because things are brewing. World War I is
right around the
only
corner.
like 10 years away at this point. It's not less than 10 years away. Yeah.
Then on December 17th at 10 p.m. in Rutland, Vermont, 20 people claimed to see a flying machine overhead for about 20 minutes. One witness claimed to see an airship pass over the town from the southeast and then climb an altitude to clear the mountain before disappearing into the clouds.
you're having reports of this plane making these complex maneuvers. There's no way you could mistake that for a star or a comet, right? I mean,
Sounds crazy.
and you have thousands of people reporting this. This is a cool story.
I also love the words they're using to like describe it, because like they just don't have airplane. Probably.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's so cool.
This witness reported he was able to make out a distinct noise of the engine and was able to clearly see a silhouette of a man in the aircraft against the moonlight.
Great vision.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Maybe if he's flying at like 50 feet, 100 feet, but
But I mean, he cleared a mountain. So, I mean, that's pretty high. Do we see pilots' silhouettes against the moonlight?
yeah, suspect.
I don't know. Like maybe binoculars and you're looking.
Maybe. I don't
know.
When I was reading about it, that's kind of, I was like, was he out there and did he have binoculars or like a telescope or
Sounds like
something?
hearsay, though. Yeah.
People marveled at the fact that the plane could travel such distance in a single night. Connecticut one night to Vermont the very next. Not only did reports come from Vermont, but they came from New Hampshire and Maine, as Tillinghast flew all over New England in a fantastic new machine in just a few hours' time.
That is kind of cool because you got to think like, yeah, the car existed probably at that point in time, but like the infrastructure for the roads aren't there yet. So it's still probably impossible.
You're not going from Massachusetts to Vermont in like a single couple hours.
But it's taking you 3 days.
Yeah. December 19th, the Boston Herald front page read, "Skyship of mystery flies above Boston. Revere man gets close enough to see framework and hears the engine. The mysterious aviator, again, presumably Wallace E. Tillinghast of Worcester, who circled his home last Wednesday night, startled the people of Greater Boston and of many towns and cities in eastern Massachusetts last night with his marvelous airship, which circled about Boston, East Boston, Lynn, Nahat, and many other places between this city and the west to that unknown somewhere where he keeps his wonderful monoplane hidden. The airship was first sighted in Boston, then thousands of Christmas shoppers saw the strange headlight of the powerful blue-white tinge and the lesser taillight, apparently green in color. These lights circled in the outskirts of East Boston, Chelsea, Lynn, and Nahat. The most remarkable feature of the whole affair is the statement of Alex Randall of Revere, who is considered an expert in aeronautics and motors. He says, I saw not only the lights of the airship, but I saw the frame quite plainly, and it seems to be of unusual size. I would say the wings have a sweep of 70 feet, and the tail and propeller seemed about 45 feet in length. I could plainly hear the engines whirl and the explosions of the motor. I would say it was either a 6 or 8 cylinder.
That's a pretty detailed account of this thing, right? That he can tell you what kind of motor.
The relentless pursuit of this plane had a description. They had a size. They had a clue to help them close in on the places Tillinghast might hide his machine. They could cross off small barns and focus on bigger buildings with at least a 70-foot wide door. The New York Times reported that on December 24th, Christmas Eve, 1,500 people watched Tillinghast and a crew of 3 fly over New York City. The craft circled the Statue of Liberty 3 times. Witnesses reported the engines cut out for about 45 minutes and the aircraft circled while Tillinghast and his mechanic got the engine running again and flew back towards Worcester, Massachusetts. So for 45 minutes, he just air glided
while they're working on the engine. That's crazy.
And then got it back going again. Sounds like something out of like a movie. But 45 minutes, is that even possible?
I have no idea. Like especially an air glider can stay up for hours, but that's an ultralight plane without the engine running.
Well, come January, the sighting stopped. The papers started to become cynical. Was he finished with his testing? Was he running into mechanical problems? Was the whole thing a hoax? Tillinghast seemed to drop off the map, and the papers that celebrated Tillinghast in December started to villainize him in January. Interviews with engineers and scientists started to question the validity of Tillinghast's claim. Cries of hoax started to echo through local and international papers. One engineer out of Boston explained why sustained flight for more than 20 miles was mathematically impossible and could never be achieved by anybody other than birds and insects.
Yeah, he was
How wrong was he?
Yeah, thousands of people saw this and claimed what's hoaxy about this?
I don't know.
Something clearly happened. Before I've gone to hoax, I'm like, did he stroke out? Like, is he alive? Is he okay?
Yeah.
Like that before hoax.
Well, he ended up moving from Worcester to Providence, Rhode Island, where he lived the remainder of his life until 1930, having never admitted to it being a hoax, but also never revealed his airplane to the public.
Ooh.
So he just never said anything about it again.
Oh, I can see why people like it must have been a hoax, because why would you?
That's some good
context. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
And he's remembered as a hoaxer in the minds of most historians. A clever inventor trying to create publicity and possibly funding for an airplane that he did not build with capabilities that would not exist until 1933 with the Boeing 247, a full 21 years after his fantastic claim. He reportedly led a quiet life after this embarrassment, and he never returned to the public spotlight and never gave another interview about his flying machine.
Interesting. If it's a hoax, what are thousands of people literally reporting? And we know the newspapers at that time would love to sort of stationalize the story.
Time and time again, the stories we share, we see that as a habitual habit. So I don't know, like, is 6 years enough time to go from the Wright brothers' 12-second flight to
flying at night up to 300 miles and doing
with
all
3
these
passengers?
Yeah, it's a pretty big jump in
45
technology.
minutes around near the Statue of Liberty and having a mechanic working on the wing. Like, to me, that's the one thing that stands out as super weird. Like, the engine goes out. They heard something go out, though.
Yeah.
Like, they witnessed it.
There was something that had to go out for them to witness it not running.
I'd love to talk to a pilot today to be like, yo, if your engine's like, you can't glide for 45 minutes. Right?
Like, can we do a Google search?
Just did it. A commercial airliner that loses all engines at a typical cruising altitude of 30 to 35,000 feet can glide from approximately 60 to 100 miles, providing roughly 15 to 25 minutes of flight time before landing. That actually makes this seem more possible to me.
Yeah, it does, right?
His plane must be so much lighter than a commercial
But he also
airliner.
wasn't that higher. He wasn't that much higher. He was only like thousands of feet. That plane's like 30, 35,000.
You also have people making reports that have no context for how high he was, right?
True, I
Could have been thousands of feet or hundreds of feet.
Time can be exaggerated as well, too. So, this made it more plausible.
It could be,
But then he goes into hiding and never talks about it again. Like, that part's really strange.
Well, we're going to talk about a couple of options here of what could have gone down with our friend Tillinghast.
You got some theories?
Got some theories. So, could it have been a situation of mass delusion? People see what they expect to see. So, when the article came out of the mysterious flights in the New England night skies, Venus or a comet or a searchlight 2 towns over suddenly becomes a mysterious aircraft.
No. Nick?
not with the descriptions we're getting.
Like nothing for that.
I saw a light in the sky.
I agree.
I saw something circle the Statue of Liberty 3 times. I heard it. Yeah.
Yes. So I agree. Maybe there were some people who made things up, right? You know, there's always those people, but to say that was all of it in all these different areas, I don't know.
And it's
I
not
don't
like
buy
you're
it.
giving me 1, 2, 3 thousands of people are witnessing this.
In different areas.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if this was a real craft, you'd think the truth would have came out by now, though, right?
Well, that kind of leads to maybe the next 2 scenarios.
I'll be quiet.
I think are probably more plausible. Could it have been sold to a foreign government? Many other countries and international business leaders were interested in this flying machine. Could Tillinghast have sold the invention and the rights to the machine to a foreign country? The airplane was invented in the U.S. in 1903, but by the 1940s, the Germans, who were decades ahead of us in the airplane design. So if he sold his design to a foreign government, he would have had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. It would not have wanted anyone in the country to find out what he did because he would have been considered a traitor. This also would explain him moving and then kind of falling out of public eye.
See, that makes more sense to me, right?
Yeah. It could have been the U.S. government, too, potentially, too, right?
Yeah. Could have been the U.S. military, and he just wasn't allowed to talk about it.
Or a corporation. Sure. Yeah, it could be anything.
That's the next theory. So, because Germany was so far ahead, I wanted to say that maybe it was a foreign country. But could this just be potentially a company that would later become Boeing, Aerodynamics, buy the rights and design what then needed 20 years to tinker? So now, he's having some mechanical issues, right? And maybe the world wasn't ready for the airplane at that time, right? Like, we know that we had AI long before AI became a thing because society just wasn't really mentally prepared for it.
Like, is that what it is? The U.S. government got their hands on it. This was their specialized warplanes technology that they needed in secret to give them some strategic advantage. Then we just didn't know about it for decades later because they were finally ready to showcase that.
To showcase it.
Yep. Yeah, once it's out there, every other country is going to be able to get the design somehow.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't exist, people are not trying to spy and get the plans for it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that technology that we're just starting to hear of the U.S. government using where they're like forcing sound waves on people? It creates like almost an insanity moment when the sound waves hit them and they like literally can't do anything. Like, they've probably been using that for decades and we're just starting to hear that it's being used. Like,
I used that as my call out on Monday after the Super Bowl. So this very well could have been that situation. He could have just signed a contract and paperwork and he got paid for it, and it required him to not disclose anything about the craft or the sale, causing him to move away and again avoid being out in the public.
You see, I like that theory too because he could fly this plane, but for them to mass produce it, get it to the point where a common pilot could fly it and people feel safe on it, that could take another couple decades of design work, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe they even needed him to help them
upskill
on the knowledge to what he did.
Unfortunately for him, the most common answer you will find is he was a fraud. People will say the story got out of control. That's why he moved away. It's why he vanished. And all of the sightings were just a mix of misidentification and mass delusions mixed in with outright lies by a few attention-seeking individuals. This is all fueled by greed of the newspapers who sensationalize the story to sell papers and to add to the hysteria. That was kind of how it sort of went down. But with all those people seeing a plane in the sky that never existed and add to the curious and the nefarious searching, it creates, a slight pause. You got to ask, is that the power of suggestion and the effect of groupthink? Was it just mass delusion shared by multiple states over a 3-week period? Or was this a plane that was way ahead of its time and for some reason or another had to disappear from public record? Either way, the answer is nothing short of astounding. And if you are a sociologist or an engineer, you need to stand back in awe of the power of this meaningful time in our history.
I love this story because I haven't had a story on our podcast in a while where I'm just like, this is a good U.S. government cover-up, and I feel it in my bones. This screams cover-up. The U.S. government wanted this technology. They might even stole it from him, and that's what ultimately happened. Maybe he didn't get paid. Maybe they just took it from him, held him captive, made him help the U.S. government.
There's so many conspiracy theories that you could go down. Agreed. Yeah.
And I believe, too, that this plane disappeared. But let's go down the hoax. Well, that's a very powerful statement, too, that thousands of people saw something that never existed, and talk about the power of groupthink and suggestion and the way that my minds work.
What were they seeing that would make them latch on to that? There would have to be a trigger, right? What do you have? One person in a crowd of thousands but a star doesn't circle the Statue of Liberty.
That's why this is such a cool story.
Yeah.
I say change the context too, though. Think of all the Bigfoot sightings and videos you see come out. People are like, oh my God, it's Bigfoot. And then you look and you're like, that is like a bird, bro.
Yeah.
That is absolutely not Bigfoot.
But the bird is the trigger.
Yeah.
Right? So the bird is the trigger in having heard the story.
Right?
Yeah.
The imagination fills in the blanks for us.
Yeah.
Hey, Leonardo da Vinci, he created and mapped out the plans for a mobile tank.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of years before a tank could even exist. And had it all the way down to he knew how to build the parts to make it work, just didn't have access to the parts to do it. So why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
It's a very interesting story, and I'm okay either way. It's just a very powerful story either way, and I'm surprised this is the first time I've ever heard of it.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like our government has never destroyed someone's reputation or
They have?
erased their history to cover up something that they don't want known. So
Never.
I don't know. I'm just,
So they've never used
anything's
their
possible.
power to use the papers to do a smear campaign against somebody because
Not
they want
once
them
per-
quiet?
Not
Nope.
our government.
We
I
are
wouldn't
always
think
on the
so.
up and up.
Yeah.
We always show our face and do
What I
things right.
What I love so much about this podcast is I feel like every week we sit down and it could be ghosts, it could be aliens, it could be cryptids, it could be weird history, it could be out of place artifacts. But how weird is New England? All of this is just in our neck of the woods. What else is happening in the United States? This is just New England.
We are over a year, and I was afraid we were going to run out of stories.
Yeah.
We're not going to run out of stories.
I was going to say that when we first started it, I remember talking to people and telling them oh, it's just going to be New England based. And they're like, are you going to have enough stories? Is there enough things that happened here? It's just
Apparently.
a small place in the country, in the world. And
then you're like, let me tell you how 1 million gallons of molasses killed 18 people.
Let me send you the link.
Oh, man. Well, Kathy, incredible story. I'm personally going U.S. government cover up. Chris?
Same.
Yeah, I'm going cover up, whether it was industry or the government.
Yeah.
That one makes the most sense to
You
me.
too, Kathy?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Extremely well written. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Where did you find this episode?
It was just a weird Google rabbit hole that I went down.
All right.
Very
Just
cool.
looking for things in New England.
Very cool. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for sharing it. We definitely appreciate it. And gang, we hope that you enjoyed this episode as well. And if you did, make sure you find yourself over to our Instagram. That is at Weirder After Dark, where Kathy will be going ahead and uploading some images that will go ahead and support this story. And it's not just Instagram. We are out there building community. That means that you can visit us on Reddit and Facebook as well, where you can go ahead and connect with other listeners who are enjoying these episodes just like you. And don't forget, we are always on the hunt for your weird New England stories. So have you been out, traveling, looked up to the sky and saw things up there that you couldn't explain? Have you seen these crazy robot dogs in Manchester? Because please help me. I don't want to be alone. Send us those stories. You can send them to thegang@weirderafterdark.com. And remember, if if you are liking this shit, no, if you are absolutely loving this shit, the best thing that you can do is leave a 5-star review for us wherever it is that you're listening. It would absolutely mean the world. And remember, it always gets a little weirder after dark.
Bye.
Buy a candle. They smell good.